Today on Sports Slice, I'm joined by one of the most dynamic and passionate players in the NFL in Jamal Adams, a former All-Pro, a player known for his intensity and leadership and love for the game. Jamal has experienced the highest moments of football and the toughest challenges that come with it. And we're going to be talking about his time at Nike and what's next for his career. We're back on Sports Slice here with the man, the myth, the legend, Jamal Adams.
Respect.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. So, you're kind of in a unique category here this week because there's not too many guys that are opening alum.
Right.
What's it like coming back to campus at a place that you dominated a decade ago?
Yeah. Honestly, man, it's crazy to be back because it's almost like it was just yesterday, So just to see all the kids out there, man, I can honestly call them kids, which is crazy now.
Right.
So just to see them out there, chasing a dream, an opportunity of a lifetime, man. I remember when, getting the opening invite to come to Oregon was like the coolest thing ever in high school, So I don't know how it is now, everybody's getting paid now, so maybe they don't look at it like that, but this is a huge opportunity, man, and what an event they put on.
Nike's crushing it.
For sure.
As always. Is this your first time back to Nike campus?
No, I came back a couple years ago. Okay. This isn't my first time. Obviously, I was with the Jordan brand for most of my career. So that was pretty cool. So I always had the opportunity to come back and shake hands.
Right. And now, off camera, we talked. You flew in just a couple hours ago.
Yep.
Have you had a chance to see some of the guys competing outside?
I just went outside. Obviously a little hot, a little sweaty right now, but that's where I just was. Just seeing them compete. I haven't laid my eyes on just one person, but more so just watching defensive guys play football and seeing how the quarterbacks operate and guys that are committed to LSU.
For sure, I've seen them. I've seen a lot of picks out there already. It's crazy. Yeah. And with your unique position of being a opening alum, what is something that you hope the guys this week gain in the experience of being here? Yeah,
man, that's a great question because honestly, just soaking up the opportunity, soaking up the moment, being where your feet are, and just enjoy this because once it's gone, And for me, obviously, being an alum, I wish I could, continue to be out there with those guys playing 7-on-7, having the uniforms, the Nike, the splurge of the of the shoes to this and that. You're getting everything. So it's like, what an opportunity for a kid to come in and compete at a high level and everybody back home is watching you and looking up to you and, hoping one day that I can make it there as well.
100%. And, when you go and watch these guys competing, what are some qualities that you see that separate the good players from the great players?
Well, obviously it's just technique. That's one thing on the field, but, it's the biggest thing for me is mentality. I think if you don't have that mentality, if your mentality is not right, it's not going to separate you from the pack because everybody's so talented, right? There's so many guys that can go out there and do backflips and do all these things and look so athletic, but when you put the pads on, you're really not doing what you do. You're not making no noise. So at the end of the day, man, everybody's going to be talented, but you got to stay humble at your approach and keep your head down and always work your ass off for real.
Absolutely. And it's great that, these guys are getting the opportunity to compete with the best of the best.
100%.
That's how you go in college.
No doubt.
It's everybody's a superstar.
Yeah.
And same thing with the NFL.
Yep.
So what is one of the biggest lessons you learned throughout your playing career that you'd want the next generation of athlete to know? Putting you on the spot here.
It's a great question. I just think it's, it can be answered in so many ways, but I think the main thing is just to embrace the opportunity. You think about football. Football is one thing, but then we think about life. Life is a whole nother, So just embrace your moments and understand why you do what you do, who you do it for, because it could be gone the next day, And so, real life can happen for you, and you can not sit back and really enjoy the moment of what you really have. Sometimes you're living too fast instead of just being patient and being where your feet are. So just enjoying the moment and soaking the moment up and just taking it by a storm and taking that storm on. And because, again, you're going to have bad days and you're going to have good days in this profession. So it's never easy on and off the field, but the main thing is just keeping your mind and your faith right and keeping, family close and your loved ones.
Absolutely. And I think that translates with life in general, too.
Yeah.
So last one here. What is next for Jamal Adams?
Man, what's next for me, man? I'm still swinging. I'm just waiting on that right opportunity, bro. I'm going into year 10, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
I've done, I'm very fortunate enough to be able to say that I've done everything and hit every pinnacle. I've done everything besides win a Super Bowl or get a Hall of Fame jacket. I've done it all. So just more so just want to continue my career, continue to do what I do, get back, hopefully in the All-Pro selection. That's my goal, and that's my dream of what, fighting back from what I fought through. But yeah, man, just looking forward to the next opportunity.
Love it. And if Howie Roseman's listening, this is a personal. We got a superstar here that's waiting to be signed.
Yeah.
So
respect, man.
Next up on Sports Slice, I'm joined by one of the brightest young stars in college football, Alabama quarterback Keelon Russell. The 5-star recruit and one of the most electrifying quarterbacks in the country has already turned heads with his talent, poise, and leadership long before even taking his first college snap last season. We're talking about his experience at Nike's The Opening, the expectations that come with wearing the Crimson Tide jersey, and what's next as he prepares for the biggest stage of his football career. We're here on an episode of Sports Slice. Different background. We are actually in Beaverton, Oregon at Nike's The Opening, and I'm joined with Keelon Russell. How you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here.
Yeah?
Yes,
yeah, this is kind of an unreal experience. First time The Opening's back since 2018. What's it like being at The Opening and the first opening since 2018?
I mean, just being out here, the culture, the vibe is unrealistic. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Seeing all these pro athletes here, it just make you see the future. It's almost like you've seen the future into your eyes. You get to coach up the little guys, lead 11 people. It's just so fun. So much fun out here.
Yeah. And you were saying, we were talking off camera, you're doing a little coaching out there? Any good tips or anything you've been giving out?
I mean, the QBs, man, like a lot of the quarterbacks right now, they're, progressing. The hardest thing right now is for them is to read the coverages. So I tell them, start your eyes over here, steer the safety, linebackers as well. So it's just little things like that to give them little tips, sneaks to, be in the defense.
For sure. They've been slinging it. I mean, the one-on-ones with the Jordan this morning.
Yeah. Those guys.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's a lot of talent out there, for real. There's a lot of talent out there.
100%. So obviously, you've gotten a chance to kind of see some of the talent here this morning and this afternoon. What's some advice you would give, whether it's quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, defense or offense, with the guys competing this week, just in general?
This week is you got me with the this week. I mean, just being confident, understanding that you're comfortable with any play style that you are. If you're in the slot, be confident that you can win from the slot. Be confident you can win from the outside. Running backs as well. One-on-ones with the linebackers is always a tough starting from the backfield. And just quarterbacks, understand that you can put it anywhere. Make any play that you can. I seen a guy out there today, guy blitzes. He made a unreal play, and it was just like, that's what the quarterback position is for. So just being confident, being you, having your own play style, just having fun with the game.
100%. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there with the confidence part. I mean, you're dealing with guys that, you've never played before, so it's just trusting your own abilities, specifically at the quarterback spot, that receiver is going to be in, the spot that, you guys practice for. Looking at this group of guys, you've gotten a more of a chance to see some of these guys. What separates some of the good players from the great?
The poise. A lot of them, you can see the game kind of slow down for them. A lot of them is, they're trying to, what is this? Like I said, like a lot of the quarterbacks, from the quarterback standpoint, I'm looking at the quarterbacks mostly, but, you got guys like Elijah Haven, Payne Houston, Trey Taylor, It's a bunch of guys, Those are the ones that I feel like are at the top of the board right now. But all of those guys, you can see like the poise in their drops and how calm they are when they throw the ball and stuff like that, you know. And I'm not saying that the other guys, they kind of rush through those things, but you can see a difference when, you know, saying somebody's taking a 3-step drop and somebody's taking a grab pull drop and somebody's releasing it, you know, high and somebody's releasing it low. Like, it's just so many things that you can spot from a quarterback position that you could tell, like, okay, maybe they're not so sure about this. Maybe they're not so sure about this. And the good ones, they always going to be sure about the great ones. You know what I'm saying? You never heard Tom Brady say, I wasn't sure about making this throw. He just made it. So, yeah.
Right. Love that. And then last one here. What is something that you're most excited for this upcoming season for yourself?
I mean, obviously everybody wants to go to the national championship. I'm not going to say the national championship, but just building the team. Like, I'm excited for all these guys. We got a young group, you know. And I just want to see what they're capable of. Like, these guys are going to be put through some fire, some extreme fire against some extreme guys, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to see what these guys are really capable of. You know, if it's go to battle, I'm taking my guys over any person. So most definitely, you know, seeing what these guys are capable of and just seeing everybody make that extra step into their career.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you taking the time and coming on here, and it's been great. And I mean, there's so many guys out there that super excited to watch next 2 days. On Sports Slice, I'm joined by former Heisman Trophy winner and Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young, one of the most accomplished quarterbacks of his generation. Bryce has handled expectations at every level from Alabama to the NFL. Today, we're talking about his return to Nike's The Opening, the lessons he's learned along the way, and the expectations surrounding the Panthers heading into next season. We're back on Sports Slice, and we are here with the man, the myth, the legend himself, the one and only Bryce Young. How you doing, man?
I'm blessed. How about yourself?
Not too bad. So, you know, we're here at The Opening. It's crazy that it's back. First time since 2018. You were in the regional in Dallas, correct?
Yeah, they did the finals in Dallas my
Okay.
year because I was 2019.
Okay.
So we were the first year that missed it being here.
Okay. What's it like coming here, seeing The Opening on Nike's campus and seeing these guys compete?
It's awesome. It's really cool. I'm glad that they brought it back. Growing up, you know, just loving football was always a dream of mine. It was always something that I looked up to at the time and was cool to be a part of. And it's just cool seeing the young guys compete. There's a lot of really, really talented guys, in this next generation, and they're going to be the future. So it's fun to witness it.
For sure. And being out there watching them compete, what advice, as somebody that was a part of the opening circuit and whatnot, what advice would you give these guys competing regardless of position?
Yeah, just to run your own race. I think it's easy to get caught up, especially, obviously if you're here, things are going well as far as, recruitment and all that things. But, just make sure that you're mastering your craft. Some guys are supremely talented and can mask it a little bit and can have some bad habits. And, I think a lot of guys, you get around good coaches, you have a choice of, do I want to take a little step back and maybe not present so well in high school just so I could, be better later, or do I want to just keep going? And, hopefully guys are, look in the mirror, doing whatever it is to be the best version of themselves on the football field, not just what your 7-on-7 coach or your high school team needs from you. And really developing. But, you see a lot of guys out here, you could tell they're working on their game, they're polished. So, it's fun to watch.
For sure. And kind of piggybacking on that, when you're watching these guys, what do you personally notice that separates, the good players from the great out there?
Yeah, it's really, I think it's work ethic and consistency. And it's tough because, you can't really get a sense of that in a camp like this, and it's just fun to watch them compete, and it's cool to see where people are right now. But once you get to that next level, everyone's talented. Once you get to the college level, and then get to the level after that, it only gets more intense. The margin of error only gets smaller. So I think it's the guys that are able to continue to put the work in, stay hungry regardless of what it is, be consistent in their process, and it's kind of on the guys individually to do that.
And I think it's a great opportunity for, these guys to experience, hey, like everybody's a superstar out there.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's the competition level has increased, and it's a unique opportunity for the high school guys that, this is how it's going to be in college. This is how it's going to be in the NFL. So it's a kind of a precursor to all that. What is something that you hope these guys at the opening kind of leave with and learn from this experience?
Well, honestly, first off, I think the most lasting thing I took away from my opening experience was just the relationships. There's a lot of guys that are going to be throughout the, different places throughout the country and different programs, and guys that I'm still close with now and that I'm cool with. And whenever we run into each other, we're able to reminisce on those times that, we've gone in different walks of life, different places. Everyone's careers went different, but, first and foremost, just, who you're here with. And then after that, like you said, kind of the competition, understanding, embracing what it's like to be, whether you're someone who's used to being around a lot of top talent, or maybe you're the biggest fish in a small pond, and you're not used to being, that's what, if you're going to continue to live out your dreams in football, at a certain point you're going to look around and see, okay, what's going to separate me, what's going to put me apart, and it's whatever it is that they need to work on or need to just continue to master, hone in on, now's the time to go and attack it.
For sure. And a lot of these guys, going through this whole recruiting process and whatnot, I mean, a lot of them look up to you. What is a lesson that you've learned throughout, whether it was college, high school, or even NFL, that you'd want to pass on to that next generation of athlete?
Yeah, I think especially for me, like going into college, I think just making sure that you're patient and intentional about, learning. I feel like that's one of the things that I've seen guys not want to learn early because, I just want to play faster. I just, XYZ can get me on the field early, or I feel like I have a shot here. But obviously it's huge at the quarterback position, making sure you're learning the system and understanding things before, you're able to go out there. And I'm sure it's the same with other positions, of making sure that, when you go out there, it's not just off of the talent, off the athleticism. There are probably some places where you can get on the field, but once you get on the field, obviously you're going to be, judged by the product you put out on the tape you have. So, and that's going to come with the knowledge and comfortability. So I say just being intentional, being in the playbook, learning the other side of the ball, all that stuff goes a really long way.
For sure. And, kind of more talking about you and the Panthers organization, you guys took a massive step this past season. What is something, or what should fans expect next year?
Expect us to be at our best every day during practice, every day during camp, to work as hard as we can to push ourselves every single day. And we understand how tough of a league it is. We're grateful. We've had ups, we've had downs. So for us, we're always going to try to chase our best. Coach Canales talks about that all the time, just trying to find our best. So you can expect just us doing everything we can with the process and our hard work to try to find our best.
Love it. Next up on Sports Slice, I'm joined by one of the NFL's smoothest route runners, Cleveland Browns wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. Before becoming a first-round draft pick and standout receiver at Alabama, Jerry once actually competed at Nike's The Opening as one of the nation's top high school prospects. Today, we're looking back at some of those memories, how that experience helped shape his journey, and what it means to see the next generation of football stars following in those same footsteps. We are joined by superstar Jerry Jeudy.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
So, just found out you not only are an opening alum, opening champion.
Yes, sir.
What's it like now, 10 years later, to see the opening back and see all these guys, these superstar athletes in high school, balling out on the field?
It's amazing, man, bringing all these top recruits from all parts of the world into the Nike facility, Nike campus, to be able to compete with each other. That's what competitors do, man. You take the best of the best and make them go at it and see who come out on top, So being able to see those guys come out here and compete, man, it's truly a blessing. And, it just takes me back when I was here, man, 10 years ago. Wow, that sounds crazy. that sounds crazy. Because it felt like it was just yesterday. I could just remember me being here, coming here so vividly. And just for it to be 10 years, man, it's crazy. But it's truly a blessing to be able to come back, and show some love and support.
Mm-hmm. And obviously we've only been here the day, but have you noticed any differences from when you competed to now? Like for myself, I graduated 2017 in high school, and I was not one of those guys out there, but just seeing the massive size of these athletes, it's like, what is happening?
And like, they are huge, and we can't. They got us in earlier to take pictures with some of the Nike commit guys, you know, and they are humongous. I'm like, they had us standing behind them, like, come on, we can't even see over for the picture.
Right. We should be in front.
We should be in front. Yeah, like those guys were so big, bro. You know, the new generation, man. You know, ton of talented kids. You know, so it's fun watching them.
100%. What advice would you give to, doesn't specifically have to be receivers, but these guys in the opening right now, progressing through their high school and collegiate and hopefully NFL careers?
You know, just enjoy the moment, take it day by day, just like the most important is enjoy the moment. You know, this go by fast. Just like I said, it been 10 years. It don't even feel like it been 10 years, but it has been 10 years. You know, and I'm just thinking about all the good memories I had just being here and everything. You know, I just enjoy the moment, enjoy the process. You know, and don't try to rush to get to college or rush to focus on the future, focus on right now, and focus on where you're at right now.
Mm-hmm. Love that. That's been a kind of a common theme of everybody of, you know, be in the present, enjoy the now. Yeah. So when these guys leave the opening, what's one thing or experience or lesson you hope they've learned from being here on campus with Nike and at the opening? You
know, being a 4-star, 5-star, you know, they all over the world. What's going to separate you from the other 5 stars, 4 stars? You know, so you being here around all these great guys, all these great talents around the world, just look at what they're doing and see what could separate yourself from them to become different from all the other 5 stars and 4 stars. You know, so just lock in. You know, stay focused on the grind and and take it day by day.
100%. And you personally, you've had great collegiate career, now NFL careers, going on year 10, right? Or no,
year 7.
Year 7.
Year 7, yeah.
What is a lesson that you've learned that you'd want to pass on to the next generation of athlete?
Never get complacent, stay on your grind, keep the main thing the main thing. There's going to be a lot of distraction, a lot of stuff that could throw you off your game and stuff like that. Don't let nothing distract you. Keep your focus on what you are trying to achieve, and that's becoming the best NFL player, the best version of yourself, whatever it is. If you don't want to become the best NFL player, whatever it is, just locking into that goal, locking into that vision, and don't let none distract you from achieving that goal.
Love that. And then last one here. This one's more of a fun one for you. So a lot of these guys now, growing up, like they watch you, they try to emulate your game, try to recreate your game. Who's a receiver that you looked up to in their shoes?
Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was the guy that, coming out of high school, I used to watch his highlights, probably like 5 times a day, literally, like the same highlight too. But I just would study his game, dissect his game, watch his game over and over and over and over and over till it just came, second nature, and, look where I'm at now, so Amari Cooper, the guy that I studied a lot when I was younger.
That's awesome. Well, appreciate you coming on here. It's been great having you, and can't wait to get back out there and watch some crazy athletes.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
On Sports Slice, I'm joined by Ole Miss running back Kewan Lacy, one of the most explosive playmakers in college football. After arriving in Oxford during a time of change, Kewan has had to navigate a coaching transition while staying focused on taking the next step in his career. Today, we're talking about his experience at the opening, what it's been adjusting through change, and why he's excited for what's ahead at Ole Miss. We're here with Kewan Lacy. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
We're here in Beaverton, Oregon at the at Nike's The Opening. How does it feel being at, the opening for the first time in, 9 years now?
Nah, it's amazing. I feel like it's a blessing just coming out here, experiencing the weather, experiencing all the, the views, and just seeing, athletes from all over come, to play football, essentially. So it's just amazing and a blessing.
Right. And I mean, unfortunately when, you were going through high school and whatnot, you didn't get a chance to compete in the opening. what's something that, obviously it's just started really today. What's something that you've kind of taken away already of like, hey, like this would have been really cool to be a part of?
Really just, the exposure and the experience. I feel like I would have, in high school, I would have been amazed here just seeing, NFL players, college players, just in the same setting, and just walking out, have been starstruck. But I feel like I would have just took away that and just try to learn from everybody around me, try to get better. Yeah,
for sure. And you've kind of quickly become one of the more dynamic playmakers in all of college football. What is some advice you would give to the running backs, receivers, throughout the rest of their high school career, and then obviously going into college too?
I'd say just get 1% better every day. That's something I try to do every day. Just find something, anything that I can get better with, whether that's ball security, running, anything I can get better at. That's what I do.
For sure. And then, these guys are competing with some of the best, high school athletes in the world and whatnot. What is something that you hope these superstar athletes get from the opening? It doesn't necessarily have to be football related. It could be like, hey, like, you can compete with whoever.
Mm-hmm. I say just, building their confidence up. I use 7-on-7 and, other things like this just to build my confidence and to, know where I stand at, versus other players, like versus competition. But I say just getting better, like no matter where you at right now or, where you trying to get at, if you just get 1% better every day, you're going to get closer. So
right. And then now kind of shifting a little bit more towards you, you guys have kind of had you've had a unique experience over the past, handful of months with coaches changes and whatnot. What is something, everybody talks about adversity. What is something from, the coach changes and whatnot that, you've taken away from, like, kind of working through the mess of coaches changes and everything?
I just look at it as like a job, basically. We're on the field, we're playing, so at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play, every down, every snap. The coach not going to be there holding your hand. So I feel like just taking that mindset helped me, getting through all that process and still playing through the playoffs and, playing games with my teammates. We just all, took that mindset, and that really helped us and, allowed us to not get distracted by anything.
And you guys kind of made a crazy run throughout the playoffs too. And like, what was that like? Because I think preseason there was a lot of people that obviously had high expectations for Ole Miss, but actually seeing it come to fruition with all of the outside noise and whatnot. You guys kind of just across the entire roster put your head down and just worked. What was it like being a part of that playoff run?
It was an amazing feeling. It was truly a blessing playing with all my brothers I got on the team. I feel like we overcame a lot of adversity, from week 1 to the last game we played. But I just feel like we all just shared the same mindset and the determination just to go out there and play football. At the end of the day, it's a game, and it's something that we all love. So we just took that mindset and, just ran with it.
Mm-hmm. And then last one here, what's the biggest lesson you've learned, whether it was in high school, college, throughout your entire playing career, that you'd want to pass on to the next generation of athlete? Putting you on the spot.
The biggest lesson I learned was just allowing myself to go through those lessons. You know what I mean? Because you can't overcome or know, what to do if you know what I'm saying, haven't failed at it or, done it before. So you have to fail to succeed, I feel like. So just, taking all your L's or your lessons, under the chin and just learning from them.
Perfect. Well, appreciate you coming on here. And man, like I said, there's some crazy dudes out there. And I'm super excited to get to watch, some of these guys make these crazy one-handed catches. We were out there for 15 minutes, and you see 3 one-handed catches corner of the end zone already, and it's like, what is going on?
I seen the same one.
Yeah. And it's like I played quarterback, so seeing some of these receivers, it's like, man. Like I had Ricky Pearsall as one of my receivers. But you look at these guys out there and it's like everybody's a Ricky Pearsall, and it's like, man, like these quarterbacks are living the dream, getting to throw these 4- and 5-star receivers all over.
Some machines out there for sure. Great
Sweet
players.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it was great talking with you, and hopefully it's a fun rest of the week.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.